We move on to race number 10, now the last on the program. It's a Class 3 over the 1,600 metres, and we've got California 10 going from gate 3 up to barrier 13. CP Brave has had a trial, and his starts have been an issue. Helene Alibor, first starter for David Hayes, was known as Alibor when with the Hayes Dabbiting stable in Victoria. Beauty Fit's on a 9-day turnaround. Hall of Champ was never clear at Happy Valley last time. All for St Paul's goes forward and gets a £5 claim for Jerry Chow. Captain Tiger's had a stable change. He's moved from David Ferraris to Manfred Mann. We've got Champion Supreme with the visor off and the cheek pieces on. Soulmate has the tongue tie off, and Charge On has got a much better barrier than what he's had the last few starts where he's been forced to race wide. So on that, Tom, I wouldn't imagine we're going to see Charge On out there 3 wide on the speed map.
No, they'll be hoping that isn't the case for Charge On this time around. He should be able to slot in somewhere basically one off Charge On, maybe even somewhere midfield there. They've had to roll the dice and sit handy in his last couple of runs. It hasn't quite worked out, but 2 horses that will be up front. All for St Paul's is definitely one of those, and Beauty Day is definitely the other. He's from gate number 14. All for St Paul's and Jerry Chow will try and dictate from barrier number 9. Horses like California 10, Paul, will be getting back, and Champion Supreme, we know, is very dicey at the start.
Yeah, so those horses, they always seem to get back. Doesn't look good for Helene Alibor there. He'll just need a little bit of luck from his draw at barrier number 10. And the other one who's been very wayward in his races is Captain Tiger down the inside there. So it'll be interesting to see how he settles in the race.
Hall of Champ likely to get a nice enough run through midfield there on the rail. Zach Purton rides for Casper Founds.
Well, Helene Alibor is a newcomer to Hong Kong. He is no stranger to feature racing in Australia. Blake Shin has done plenty of work with him at the trials, and this is what he had to say about the horse at track work yesterday. Blake, you ride Helene Alibor, first start in Hong Kong. 3 trials you've ridden him in down here at Sha Tin. What have been your impressions of him?
Look, I like the horse. I think he's got a nice future here in Hong Kong. He's middle distance to staying type of horse. He's got a nice character about him. Everything he's done, he's pleased me. He's ready to go to the races now, so it's up to the horse to see where he's at on the weekend.
You've had to shake him up a few times in those trials. Is that just a greenness and lazy thing with him?
Yeah, he's just a casual customer. You know, in Australia he wore blinkers, but we haven't applied them on him just yet. We're just taking him on face value. Hong Kong's a bit more of a faster tempo than Australian racing, so the horse is adjusting to that a little bit, hence why he's stepping out at 1,600 first time. But you know, that tempo should be a little bit, hopefully, what he's accustomed to back in Australia. And if he can find his rhythm, I'm certainly believe he should be hitting the line hard.
He hasn't shown much early pace in those trials. Has that just been the key with you and David? That's just the way he likes to race back in the field?
Look, his last trial on the dirt, he jumped into the bridle a little bit better than he was his 2 previous trials, but he's trialling over an unsuitable distance. So over 1,600, I would assume that he's going to settle probably midfield, somewhere around there, and as long as he's travelling kindly wherever he is, giving his opportunity first up over a mile to hit the line. If he's running through the line and running well, I think we'll all be happy.
What have you made of his trials, Tom?
I thought he was pushed out quite away from home in that most recent trial, so I'm a little bit on the fence with Helene Alibor, especially with the draw that he's come up this time round.
Yeah, and he wore blinkers in Australia, as Blake said there as well, and that Sandown Guineas he won wasn't the strongest race.
No, it's not really the strongest race normally at the back end of the Spring Carnival either.
OK, so we'll have a look at some of his opposition now. We've touched on Helene Alibor, and here's our first replay. We've got California 10 here, and this race was over the 1,600 metres. That's him back there in the blue, orange and yellow. All for St Paul's, well, he's always at the front, and there he is once again. Champion Supreme, you've touched on his starts. He'll be hoping to jump better. Beauty Fit's on that 9-day backup this week. Beauty Day is up outside the leader, and Heavenly Thought, he's raced best, Paul, over at Happy Valley. He
has. Now, California 10's been drawing inside barriers and getting back. With this outside barrier draw 13, I don't think it's going to be necessarily a problem for him from barrier 13, because his natural style is to get back anyway. He's been quite consistent. I've got him in the numbers. I've also got All for St Paul's, because he's such a strong horse and he's a very hard horse to get past.
He certainly is. I didn't quite get him in, but I've definitely got California 10. He has been knocking on the door, and he only just missed his second place in there last time out. I'm not worried about the draw.
CP Brave, Tom. Now, he was slow away this night. He has been back to the trials, which we'll have a look at rather shortly. He was better away at the trials, but the start cost him this night.
It certainly did, and you can see him down towards the inside there. That's Telecom Fighters in front, who's since come out and won again, and down on the inside there, one of the carrying horses. He came off the back of Telecom Fighters here and launched late, Paul, but just wasn't quite good enough. But look, I think if he can jump with them, he's a big player.
Yeah, I agree totally. And it was only beaten head-to-head. And it's, as you say, it's not a bad form race out because the Telecom Fighters has come out and won again nicely. So, look, I give him a big chance in this.
That race was on the 26th of May. Just shy of a month later, Paul, he's been at the trials, and there he is against the inside on the all-weather. Noir Rider, who has raced well recently to Happy Valley's leading up at this stage. Did you like the trial? Yeah,
I did. I thought it was a nice, quiet trial from him. You can see he was still under a really decent hold as he came down. So more of just a maintenance trial for his fitness, I think, for this particular trial. And I do like him coming back here to Sha Tin, Tom.
And he's chased home the second horse there, who was Infinity Win, who went round at a very, very short price on Thursday down the straight. So it was just maintenance there, but he looked to be under a nice hold.
Now, I've pulled out the split screen here for Hall of Champs' last start at Happy Valley. He is in behind the leader in those blue, purple and white colours, Tom, and it shows better on the below angle that he just has no luck up the home straight.
Yeah, wasn't able to get through it all. You can see Gallant Crown there on the outside, and right about here he just gets tightened. I think either clips a heel or just stumbles there, Paul. So no luck for him last time out. He's drawn gate number 2. He's going to get all favourites from there.
He will, and prior to that he was here at Sha Tin and won, and he's won 2 of his last 4 starts. So look, he's a horse in really good form at the moment.
Lightweight horse here, Paul, is Charge On. There he is outside. That's actually Robot Warrior there in the yellow colours, who races earlier in the program. He's just been a horse that has no luck in his recent starts and covered plenty of ground. That shouldn't happen in this field.
Yeah, he's up in grade without winning, Charge On, so he's up to a rating of 61, so he does get the lightweight. That was just a little query I had. He has had a minor placing in this class, but I prefer to see him in class 4.
Yeah, we know they've backed him in his last couple of outings too, Charge On. He's a son of Rios. He was the subject of a big gamble 2 starts ago behind Freefall, who goes round earlier on in the card, and then this time round, like the start before, just had no luck. Here he is up on the outside of Oscar Gloria. It's Super Elegance, the non-winner, to his outside, and he fights on bravely here over the final stages. If he gets an ounce of luck, which he should do from gate number 3, I think even with the class rise and the horse here with the lighter weight on his back, he'll be right there in the fight.
And we've also got Robot Warrior, as we mentioned, a few others in that race also on the backup from that race earlier in the day, including Everlaugh and El Jefe, who we'll see in an earlier race. OK, Paul, who did you like in the last?
Yeah, we went with CP Brave. I think coming back to Sha Tin's a positive. He looks like he's come on from that Happy Valley run, and I thought the trial was pretty good. All for St Paul's, a very hard horse to get past. Hall of Champ, as we said, and had no luck last time. Likes it here at Sha Tin. And California 10 with the big weight, and then for 4th, 2, 6, 5 and 1.
2, 5, 13 and 1. I've gone with here. I think CP Brave can be tough to beat for Tony Millard and Karis Teaton. If he can get away cleanly, I think he'll be right there, and he's only having his 3rd start, and he's looked progressive so far. Hall of Champ, no luck last time out, but he's been in really good form since arriving in the Founds barn. Charge On's been unlucky his last 2, and California 10, not worried about the draw. He will be running on at the end. So 2, 5, 13 and 1.